Hello, chess enthusiasts, and welcome back. I have prepared today something called the fried liver attack, and apparently its origins come from the 17th century, from Italy, derived from an Italian dish, fegatello, fried liver attack, some pork liver cooked and stuff. So that was its origins. I didn't, dig very deep into it, but it's something like that. So it is from the Italian game and actually can become a real headache or a real, a liver pain if you don't play this accurately. So I will exemplify now. So we start with the e4, then e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4. Okay, so that's the Italian game or the Gioco piano. Okay, we know that, and I've discovered with every generation of students that I have, this is a recurrent theme. Okay, so now hopefully if I do the video, I'll just send them straight to the video and I'll talk less. Okay, so what it means now, even today, I had a student which played knight f6 here. And not that it's a totally bad move. Of course, you could do knight f6 here, but you need to be prepared when white continues with the move like knight to g5. And you already see there is a double attack here, knight and the bishop on f7. So the only way to refute this, I think, at my younger students now, I'm addressing especially, is guys, you really need to play d5. There are very wild continuations like bishop c5, known as the Traxler counterattack. It's a crazy wild line. We'll talk about this line, of course, just a little bit. But for my students, the move is d5 because you need to stop the bishop and the knight to attack you on f7. Right, so d5 is actually the move I warmly recommend all my younger students to play. And of course, now you can expect your opponent to take back with the pawn here. Now, you've got two very good choices here. You may go with the main line, knight a5, or you may just try b5. That's a cool stuff too. You could do b5, and the bishop takes. You might say, "Oh my God, I'm in deep trouble." Actually, you kind of not. The position is very balanced after queen to d5. Not just that you're attacking the bishop, but you also attack the g2 pawn, to which the best reply here would be for them to simply probably just go back on f1. Okay, because if they take, you're going to take and you still maintain the attack on the g2 square. Okay, now another good stuff for you guys to play here, apart from b4, would be knight a5. And I think that's a line preferred by many strong players. Of course, bishop may play on a b5, checking your king, to which you reply with c6, pawn takes, and you take back. Yeah, there are a couple of possibilities here for white to play. Bishop a4, bishop e2, bishop d3, and a tricky stuff with queen to f3. I mean, if you capture the bishop, queen takes the rook. Again, a bit wild. So I would recommend, if you were to get to this point, guys, just simply play bishop e7 followed by castling. Okay, and that's very nice. Now, obviously, you just don't want to get there, and there are ways to just not getting into this by simply, instead of playing knight to f6, which opens up the possibility for your opponent to play knight g5, just play a very simple, elegant move, developing a piece off the back rank like bishop c5. They cannot play knight g5 because if they do so, the queen takes the piece for free. Thank you very much. And if they play d3 or c3 or knight c3 or castle kingside, then you're going to play knight f6. Let me just give an example. Right, so let's suppose they play d3 because they are keen to pushing the knight on g5 on the next turn, to which you just reply knight f6 now. And if they still persist with knight to g5, you castle the king. Beautiful and highly effective. No fried liver attack, no headache, no liver pain. It's awesome. Now, no serious player will trade the bishop and the knight for a pawn and a rook at the very beginning of the game. No serious play. If they do so, I don't know, they might be, super beginner or something. So I know that according to the value of the pieces, a bishop and the knight worth 6 points, and a pawn and a rook is 6 points. But my dear students and my dear chess friends, believe me, you don't want to give two active minor pieces in the opening for a rook, lethargic rook, which actually will become active towards the end of the game, not in the beginning. So let's just give a flavor of this. So if it were for the knight to take, rook takes, and the bishop takes, you take. And now with black, I just want to congratulate you. If you just play naturally, developing your stuff, getting a knight here, getting the pawn, attacking the queen, you are fine. You've got 4 active pieces attacking incessantly your opponent. You're fine. Just drop the bishop back on g8 and behave as if it were just normal. You've got 4 minor pieces, so you're doing way better than your opponent. So again, no club player, no serious chess player will trade bishop and knight for a pawn and a rook. So just to make it clear. Okay. Now, as I said, if you don't want to get into the fried liver complications, just simply get a bishop to c5. Let them play d3. Right. If they now still play, again, you castle, problem solved. No headache. Just continue developing. Send this guy away. Send the knight away. You will be playing at some point some d6. You might be able to just make a pin here. You might be able to play a knight to d4. It's perfectly fine. Just continue. Get along with the game. No problemo. Okay? Now, if you do play knight to f6, you need to accept the fact that your opponent's choice could be also knight to g5, which is the fried liver, the fegatello attack, okay? So you just need to, work with the engine, work with the database, and learn line after line that you may encounter here. Okay? Yes, okay, it's the bishop c5, tracks the counterattack. It's wild. Okay, it is wild. If white were to just capture, just to give you an example here, if the white knight now were to take on f7, there is a possibility bishop takes on f2. It's really, really tough. Okay, and if the king were to take, guys, knight takes on e4, attacking the king. Now, I don't know, if king goes on e3 to attack the knight, you may very well play queen to h4. It's wild, really crazy. And if g3, knight takes, and h takes, and queen d4, and it's absolutely crazy. So, if you want to get into this, be my guest, but make sure you've memorized every single line and variation. If you really want to do this. I mean, the Traxler counterattack with bishop c5. It's really, really wild. Probably the safest bet for white would simply be bishop checks, king moves out of check. Then you're going to move the bishop on b3 and just play as it is, and because it's really, really, really crazy. So I can't, in good conscience, I can't tell my younger students to play the Traxler counterattack. So you would rather, guys, go with d5, as we've explained. And again, if white were to take on d5, my dear younger students, go with knight a5. That's a very good one. Don't take, so that's a little trap here that you must be aware of. Don't take with knight on d5. Don't do that. Okay, because white might play this against you, and that works for my students that really want to try this with white versus the other guys. So there is a little stuff here with knight takes on f7. And if king takes on f7, boom, queen to f3. Attacking here, twice on d5, and king is in check. So this is painful for black, and I can't encourage you with black to do this. Don't do this, therefore. And again, for my students that want to play this with white, in case your opponent drops the king on g8, it's a checkmate coming in 3 moves, because bishop takes, queen takes d5 check, painful delay with bishop e6 and queen takes e6 and checkmate. Okay, so tough business. So you may try this with white. Maybe the other guy, won't know the lesson and things. Yeah, okay, it's king to e6, but come on, playing with the king in the middle of the board to just defend the knight. And guess what? Your opponent will just simply pile up the pressure on the pin piece with knight c3. It's really, really tough. And even if you think that black might be doing knight to d4, it is a bit too late. I'm sorry to say that, because bishop takes d5. Check. You don't get to get the queen. The king is already in check. It's really tough business here. Okay? So, my dear students, don't get into the fried liver. That would be my first advice until you like confident enough and strong enough to actually choose this line of game. Go with the bishop on c5. I don't know, bishop e7, probably that's playable too, but it's a bit too passive to my taste. So bishop c5, whatever they do, well, not whatever they do. Bishop c5, and if it's d3, c3, knight c3, 0, 0, etc., I don't know, knight f6. Of course I do know. Knight f6, and then you can just castle in safety. Okay? And if you do get into this and you forget, remember, d5 is the way out. And after pawn takes, do not take with the knight on d5. Okay? Move this guy or play b5. If it's too much for you, go knight a5, okay? And simply after b5, just block, pawn takes, and you can expect bishop a4, bishop d3, bishop e2, even queen f3. If queen f3, don't take the bishop because they're going to take the rook, and that's another tough line. I don't know, bishop e2, just saying, okay? Now, bishop e7, and you will castle your king, you will play h6, you will push the pawn. If knight goes on f3, you can push the pawn and harass the knight further on, and this kind of ideas. Okay, so that's about the fried liver. There are many other things to discuss, but I think for my younger students, this serves just the right amount of information to make it very clear and accessible for my friends. So again, the Gioco piano and the particular Fegatello attack, or the fried liver, it can be really demoted. You know, just do bishop c5. Avoid the fried liver if possible. And if you're on a heart attack for the other guy or for yourselves, of course, go for the Traxler. And, you know, I wish you all the best. Good luck. Okay, guys, so that was it for this evening now. The fried liver or the Fegatello attack. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And I shall see you shortly with the more chess videos, my dearest friends.